You're listening to Inspired Coach Podcast, and I'm so delighted to have your listening heart and ears here with us today. I'm particularly delighted because we are going to be talking about the most important part of your coaching business, whether you have one now or you're desiring to have one in the future. And that part of your coaching business is you. We're here to talk today with a very special guest all about you. Now, our special guest today is the incredible Tao Kroesche. Tao is a multi-award nominated global confidence coach, the founder of Bold Women in Business, a speaker, an author, a somatic healer, and an NLP practitioner. That's a lot of good things. Tao guides heart-led entrepreneurs to rise, be seen, and become the unapologetic face of their business. She's extensively trained in holistic therapies and neuro-affirming strategies, backed by her own lived experience with ADHD, ASD, anxiety, and P&D. Her work goes beyond surface-level mindset shifts, rather a rewiring at the root, amplifying your innate confidence and a remembering of who you truly are. This topic about building a coaching business that prioritizes you is just so profoundly important. And in this conversation ahead with Tao, we talk about why things such as your health and spaciousness and even fun that you have in your business is so incredibly important. And here's the thing. I know at a cognitive level, a cerebral level, a top line level, you probably know that. You know that, of course, you have to treat yourself well and you have to look after yourself and you have to see yourself as the primary foundation of your business and all that you do. Except we are also, while knowing those things, somewhat battling against hustle culture, extreme messages of productivity, perfectionism, needing to get things right all the time, that our value is in what we produce, and so much more. And so Tao is here today to help us unravel those things and truly come back to the foundation and heart of your work as a coach, which is you. Tao Kroesche, welcome to Inspired Coach Podcast. I'm so excited to have you on as our guest today.
Thank you so much, Julie. I am beyond excited to be here. I can't wait to dive into what we're going to talk about.
Me either, because I don't even have a feeling. I actually have a knowing inside me that this is a topic that is one that is going to be hotly listened to in this interview by a lot of coaches who possibly had these thoughts that we're going to share and talk about held in their heart when they first started, but might be in the weeds somewhere. And so we're really talking to those people today, and of course anybody that's thinking about building a coaching business for themselves in the future, to know that you can hold these things closely in your heart. So what are we talking about? We're talking about building a business that prioritizes more than the making of money. And in fact prioritizes really, really important things in our life, such as health and spaciousness and, oh wow, fun. That thing, fun. And so I would love to ask you, Tao, why are these particular things, as a coach and a business owner yourself, so important to you? Why do you really want to get this message out?
Oh, Julie, you know, if I had known this at the very beginning and be reminded of it throughout. So I've been a coach for a while now, and I think it's something that I constantly and consistently have to remind myself on as I'm impacted by all the white noise around me, is that we're allowed to have these things. We're also, it's absolutely necessary and vital to prioritise these things. I've been down the rabbit hole and the roller coaster ride of burnout, mental health challenges, being neurodivergent, going into really unhealthy and unhelpful places, dark nights with the shadow and all of that. And what's happened is that it has directly impacted how I show up online, how I show up as my brand in my business, how my business functions and flows. And I think it's something that we know about consciously, but subconsciously we sabotage it on many different levels. And if this is just one beautiful little invitation in all the invitations that we receive today, let it be that you're allowed to prioritise your health and create spaciousness. And oh my God, have fun again. Can we do more of that, please?
And you know what? As I'm hearing you say these things, Tao, I think that cognitively, most people know this, right? They know. It's like, well, yeah, of course I'm supposed to prioritise my health. Of course I'm supposed to have space in my life. Of course I'm allowed to have fun. But if we get really specific here, tell us more about that from the perspective of being a business owner.
Yeah.
Because that's the specific thing that we're talking about here. Is like, okay, and I know that cognitively business owners likely know that as well. But it's one thing to know it, and it's one thing to know that it's a right, and it's definitely a positive and good thing to have. It's a whole other thing, though, to actually truly weave it into the running of your life and business.
Yeah, and this is what I'm obsessed with, is getting right down into the, okay, this is a really lovely concept, and I don't know how to bring it in. And strategy and techniques is, yeah, I'm obsessed with it. So first off, I think it's so important, this permission piece. And to go, I'm allowed to do this. I'm declaring to my business that I value myself and I value what I do in this world and I value the impact that I desire to have with my clients. So I need to allow myself to really become aware of where it's not working, why, what conditioning I've placed in that space, and how am I going to, give myself permission to dive in to things like, are we busy just for the sake of being busy? Are we creating a really full calendar so we can tell people that we are efficient and working really hard? Do we say that we prioritise our health but then work well beyond the hours that is healthy? Like pushing ourselves beyond scrolling until midnight because we're trying to connect online and build our, brand online? Are we allowing ourselves to say, actually, I've noticed in the last 6 months, a year or whatever, that my mental health, my physical health, my spiritual health has cost me far more than the bottom line of my business. Yeah. So for me, I speak from my own experience. For me, it's looked like I have to have spaciousness in my business. I came out of the corporate world thinking that my value and worth as a human and as an entrepreneur and a businesswoman and a coach came whether I clocked in from 9 to 5. But when you put on your entrepreneurial hat and you work in, inverted commas, flexible hours, you push it beyond that, and you're working from 6, the time you wake up in the morning, till like 10 o'clock at night, because those boundaries they become unclear. And I noticed that it was affecting, like I would literally log on to my phone and check my emails, check my social media, check everything, just in case, because I didn't want to miss out, because I'm switched on, you know, like I'm a successful, passionate businesswoman. I don't want to miss anything, like that FOMO, my God. And so I would literally log on, and not only was I letting people come into my bedroom and be part of that space, it was impacting how I was as a mother. So I'd walk out and greet my children with this loading. It was affecting how I showed up in my marriage. It was affecting, even if we get down to like the micro, what I would choose to eat for breakfast or not, because I was too busy and I had to log on. And I think when you become aware of how you want to feel in your business and how you're not honouring that by doing just the basic human needs, it becomes really obvious really quick. And I would go through these cycles of anxiety and depression. My neurodivergent sensitivities would become peaked. Rejection sensitivity is like one of my really fun traits with my ADHD. And so I'd be logging online and seeing things and feel that rejection sensitivity starting to heighten. And I'd also start to hyper focus on what I should be doing. Mm-hmm. And so I couldn't even turn on the computer. I'd have to be in a dark room and not be able to work for the day or a couple of days. I would go to events and not protect my energy, not listen to my body, and think I needed to be switched on all the time. And then I wouldn't even be able to promote my latest offering online because I was so over stimulated, and you know, my senses would be just fried, that I couldn't even show up. I couldn't even be part of my business. So what is the point?
Tao, thank you so much for your heartfelt honesty there, which is a hallmark character trait of yours that I absolutely love. You're always so real and authentic and unveiled, which is incredibly supportive for people. And as I was listening to you share that, I was thinking about some of the other people that might be listening right now that won't necessarily be able to fully say, I've experienced all of that. Mm. However, I feel almost certain that there will be many, and I put up my own hand in relation to this, that can draw comparison and parallels and I see you, sister, kind of feels with some of the things that you were mentioning about needing to be on a lot. Making sure, you know, the FOMO, making sure you don't miss out. It's that underlying and sometimes not underlying hustly pull. Yeah. You know, that is constantly there. Mm. And I think it's worth mentioning amongst all of this that this is and can be happening while you still love what it is that you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about that, because this is sometimes where I think sometimes we can get a bit mixed up, because we think to say, how is it possible to end up feeling burnt out and overwhelmed and anxious about our businesses and what we do when in fact we love it so much? Like, what is that about?
Yeah, oh my God. Julie. Okay, so here's the tea. I get it. We are multi-passionate, beautiful beings who have a calling and a purpose. And so we want to heal the world in 20 seconds or less. And we actually wanted it yesterday. And we want everyone to realise and acknowledge our efforts as well, and be seen and heard and acknowledged and valued. But the thing is, what are we placing on this passion and purpose? Is there a condition that your worthiness and your value is dependent on people's response to that, or your efficiency or effectiveness on how you share what you do, the offerings that you put out? There's a really tight relationship, I feel, in the confusion around, I need to literally be a walking, bleeding heart to be effective as a coach. Otherwise, I'm not being true to my calling. Otherwise, I'm not a true being of service. And look, if I could get on the soapbox, but if we really dig into it, it dives into our conditioning, especially as women and female identifying, anyone from a minority group. It really bleeds into that conditioning around what you produce in the success metrics is how valid you are as a human.
And you're right, 100%. And this is why even just the word, when I think about it, I'm often asked, what is a successful business, a coaching business? And it's an extraordinarily almost impossible question, I think, to answer, because every single person's answer to that question should be different, right? I appreciate why it is that sometimes people ask it of me, but I can't answer it for you, and I can't answer it for anybody else, because it's certainly not just a business that makes X amount of dollars. Right? Because when I first started coaching more than 20 years ago now, or actually not even that far back, I can go back as far as recent as 10 years, which seems like ages, but is actually really not that long ago. The pinnacle that was being promoted of success at that time was having a 6-figure business.
Yeah.
If you were making $100,000 a year, that was being promoted as a successful coaching business. And then a really interesting thing happened. As soon as that became the metric, guess what? It wasn't enough. Then it had to be multi-6 figures. Then when that wasn't enough, it had to be 7. Now it's beyond 7. And I'm starting to see people talk about 8 and 9-figure businesses, right? And so this concept of success is elusive. For me, at a personal level, success to me has always been about, and this links back into the spaciousness and fun and feeling healthy and vibrant. Success to me is being able to spend my time the way that I want. That's what a successful life and business is for me. That's the metric I'm most interested in. Am I doing what it is that lights me up and I want to do? And we all have to do things in our businesses where that's not the case. That's a given. But I'm talking about most of the time. And so really, this concept of yours, Tao, it's really about a reclamation outside of, capitalist, patriarchal, hierarchical success metrics of it's just about the money, or it's just about how many clients you're working with. And understanding that it's about so much more than that. Because ultimately, and I'd love for you to speak about this a bit more. If we don't have our health and well-being, and I know you've been there from what it is that you've described here today, you don't have a business.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't, full stop, exclamation mark. Anything you can put into a spreadsheet, if that is your level of success, anything you put a dollar sign in, there's no heart, there's no soul. So you can't say this is, I'm putting it very bluntly. You can't say you're a passionate, purposeful human being, heart-led entrepreneur, service-led coach, if you're negating how you want to feel in your business and you're just putting it down to the numbers. Ugh, no thanks. I don't want to live in that space. I want to live and breathe this work, but I want it to feel fun. I don't want to show up and resent the fact that in my spreadsheet it looks very different. If it's not with emojis, I'm not interested. I have worked myself to the bone so many times thinking I wasn't working hard enough. Ironic, isn't it? I'm literally on the floor pulling the tower card going, why can't I do this? Why isn't it working for me? Because I haven't supported my nervous system. I haven't supported my mental health, my physical health. I had a coffee. I've had 3 coffees before 10 o'clock. Why can't I focus in my job? I wonder. And this belief that, you have to be busy for busy's sake. You should see my calendar. I mean, my calendar does have a lot of things in there, but that's because I need to remember things. But as far as work goes, I specifically keep big blocks of time for spaciousness. And it's interesting though, because a couple of years, Julie, there was a lot of talk around, I only work 3 days a week, or, do this blueprint framework and work 10 hours a week. I don't subscribe to that. I've specifically chosen that, okay, sometimes work is going to be full on. If I'm in launch mode, I'm going to be working, but it's this awareness of, off the back of that, I need to have a lot of time to reset my nervous system and recalibrate, and also just to celebrate that I work damn hard. I really put myself out there, and it costs you. Everything is an exchange, energetic, what have you. Everything is an exchange. Getting this understanding that if I want to be out there in social media and, do my videos, do whatever, then I know I need time after for recovery. And otherwise it dips into performatism or tokenism, and I'm just not about it. Yeah. And when we talk about, I always thought that, for instance, I need to move my body, I just do. But I resisted so much because I thought I had to earn that right. I thought that I need to sit at my desk and tap away at insignificant things. Let's do the website again for the 500th time. And that's me being a businesswoman. And then afterwards, at 5 o'clock, then I'm allowed to go out and go for a walk. That's my hashtag, self-care. But what I've realised is I never was going for the walk. I never would get there. Or I would be really angry that I was going for a walk, or just lackluster about it. I wasn't even present. But now I do it before I sit at the computer. That's my go-to in the morning, on the days that allows, because then I have my intuitive hits, I have my creativity drop in, I am allowed to breathe and kind of regather and regain what I need to do before I even do it. So it's not in this reactive hustle, push mindset. And that's sort of where that permission piece came in. And then, Julie, I realised not that long ago that I'm going to be really blunt, I hated my business. I hated showing up in it. I hated sitting down at the computer. I redid my office like for the 10th time because the energy wasn't right. I wasn't in love with it anymore. And because I had literally taken out all of the fun. I thought I had to be professional. I thought I had to be a certain way. I wasn't myself anymore. And just turning on the computer, I was having a visceral reaction to it. I thought, something isn't right here. I'm about to give it all away. Something's not right. And I was like, if I could ask myself what I need right now, like my inner child really wants to come out and play. She wants to get the colour markers out. She wants to go to town. And this stuffy, professional, inverted commas, person, it's just not me. Like, I am professional, but I'm also a unique unicorn who likes to have a lot of fun. And so I've had conversations with clients and with friends and colleagues about this, and I know I'm not the only one. So why do we forget it, Julie? Why don't we allow ourselves this?
Well, there's lots of different reasons for that, isn't there? And that's probably a whole, the conditioning that we bring internally into our mindset in our lives and businesses is an entire topic in and of itself. It's because we are taught things like the things that you were talking about there are a waste of time.
Yeah.
That they do not contribute to productivity.
Yeah.
That they do not make money. And a whole range of other things, all of which we know to be untrue, but that does not then necessarily mean that we're not impacted by that conditioning, because we know that we are. And it can be very hard for us to see that doing things that bring us fun and joy, could be anything as simple as having a hit of tennis in the middle of the day with a friend, or going for a walk with a pal or something like that, can recharge us, re-energize us. You mentioned about intuitive downloads, all of those kinds of things. But unless we get into the rhythm and practice of doing those things and feeling the benefits for them in other ways, it can be very, very challenging for us to take on board, actually, this is a key component to my business success.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, Tao, how do we prioritise this? Whether it be health, spaciousness, fun, how do we just prioritise ourselves when, let's get real here for a second. I mean, we've been real the whole way through, but for our businesses and us to thrive and be successful at a certain level, they need to make money.
Absolutely.
Because we have to be able to put food on the table. Yeah. Avocados are expensive.
Like smashed on toast. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's like, wow, I went out to breakfast a couple of weeks ago at a Chichi Cafe in Melbourne, and it's like, the avocado on toast was nudging $26. And I'm like, wow, I feel so old, because I remember when this was $16. So what is going on? Right? It's like, like, all jokes aside, it's like we know that we need to generate income.
Yes.
But the foundation of us being able to do that is our own health, our own well-being, space, fun, joy in our lives. How do we prioritise this? How do we make sure we don't lose sight of it, and we don't want anyone joining you on the bathroom floor?
Yeah.
Like, let's avoid that.
We could have a little party, but I don't wish that for anyone, because it's really not a fun place to be. And it's as simple and complex as saying, I deserve better. It's as simple as complex as saying, I'm just going to do it. But coming in with curiosity and kind of making it a bit of an experiment, instead of saying it has to be, like, don't be rigid and structured, because that never works. Like, I'm a rebel, so I go, you want me to, I have to follow this? No. Based on the feeling. what do you want to feel? And it can change from day to day and moment to moment. But if you find yourself dipping into the things you don't want to feel, that's a really good indicator because you're really familiar with it. And so, as you said, foundations, building that foundation, and just saying that it's a non-negotiable. A client wants to book in on a time where you said you were going to be doing something else, non-negotiable. That is the most sacred, professional, and self-honouring thing that you can do. These are non-negotiables because if the ship goes down, there ain't no money to be made. You can't make money if you're stuck on a hospital bed. It's as simple as that. But it comes back to that permission piece. To just say, I'm going to play today. I'm just going to test it. I'm going to have a little experiment. I'm just going to test. If I chuck on Beyonce and go dancing around the room, do I feel better pumping out a couple of emails? Yep. I'm just going to test. If I have an early night tonight and not doom scroll or research on social media, do I have a better night's sleep? How do I wake up in the morning? Oh, yeah. I actually felt like I could XYZ in my business. I think we try and make it more complex than it needs to be. We're all very intelligent people here. We all know. But just allowing yourself to come in and say, if my business was going to feel like a party today, what would I do to make it feel that way? Because the feeling means that we can be flexible and free-flowing.
Absolutely it does. And, I would like to add in there as well as permission, I think another P. And that is, and it's not a dirty word. I understand sometimes it can be one of those things that can be wrapped up in, thinking, it's like a to-do list or it's, needing to make decisions about certain things. But it's about priorities and prioritization. It's like, where are you on your priorities list?
Amen.
Like, where do you sit there? Because if you're not at the top, this is where, issues within this realm begin to exist. Tao, thank you so much for being with us to talk about this. There are so many branches to this topic and I love it. I thank you and your neurodiverse goddess-like, just presence, the fun, the joy, I know we've been talking about a really serious topic today, but everyone, please go to Tao's website and just look at the gloriousness there, the bright colours, the movement, you really are just glorious and you are who you say you are. And I know that you've been down to the bottom and I'm so glad that you're coming back up and really you're this glorious cautionary tale. In the most, you live to give. There you go. In the most wonderful way for everyone. No, you're a living example of what it means to come back from something and to be truly now living and being in your business via the lessons that you've learned. In many ways for you, my love, I wish that you hadn't had to learn them in the way that you did, but also it was clearly what was meant to be for you to now be where you are.
Absolutely. It's all been a catalyst for greater awareness and for me to be able to make change. So I don't regret any of it. I needed to feel that to make the changes. So thank you for allowing me to be here and be that cautionary tale. This is the comeback tour, Jules. This is the comeback tour.
I love it. On that note, keep singing, keep dancing, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.